The long-rumored product has finally been announced. There is a Snoopy watch face. And while the Snoopy watch face was probably the star of the show, you had a close second with Craig Federighi rocking a 3-necked guitar with a Marshall full stack, and he was doing some tapping, shredding it out, man. Attaboy Craig, rock on Craig! We're going to talk today about how many W's? There's a bunch of W's. DC, Worldwide Developers Conference 2023 for Apple. And man, some stuff went down in that 2+ hours of a keynote. So I'm going to highlight the things that I think are going to be important to musicians and audio engineers, as one myself. So let's jump into it. Let's start off with the Mac. So first of all, Mac OS really didn't get a big update, and that's how I like it. Just small, little, consistent updates. Its biggest update probably is the new Mac OS is going to be Sonoma for all you wine lovers. But we got Macs. Oh yeah, we got Macs. So the first thing that was announced was the 15-inch MacBook Air. And this, I think, is going to be good for the guys running like Ableton or MainStage, where a nice, thin, light laptop that has a decent-sized screen. Also for home production, if you just want a little bit bigger screen. The M2, when you get into, you start getting into bigger mixes, I think will start to lose a little bit of power, but it's a pretty big. You got to be mixing pretty big in 96 kilohertz, which I do some of that stuff, so it's not a machine for me. But I think definitely for the portable musician who needs a laptop and needs it thin and light and portable, great option. But the big thing was we got spec updates for the Mac Studio. Yes. The Mac Studio is now rocking the 2nd generation of Apple Silicon, the M2 Max, and the M2 Ultra. Hallelujah. This is awesome. So there were some rumors early on that this was not going to be the case, but it was. So that makes me happy. But we also got something that was not mentioned in any of the rumors. Nobody really saw coming, seemingly, and that is we got the Mac Pro. So this is where it gets interesting. So the Mac Pro pretty much looks like this Intel one. There was no design change, and I think that's a good thing. And if Apple's smart, they'll stick with this design for quite a while because it works for the professionals that need it. But basically, it's just the M2 Ultra chip in there and PCIe slots. And so you pay a premium of like $2,000, give or take, over the Mac Studio to get the PCI slots. So that's going to be super worth it to some people, but I think to probably 70% of music creators, it's not going to be worth it. But the people that need that will want that. But I think the M2 Ultra is going to be disappointing for some of the people that are looking to replace their Intel Mac Pros, oddly enough, because it maxes out at 192 gigabytes of RAM. Now, I think most people see that and you're like, how is that restrictive? That's insane. But a lot of people that are working, now we're talking about guys that are on TV, movie productions that are working with humongous Atmos files and massive orchestrations. They need to be able to load sample libraries and things like that. There's a lot going on there where a terabyte of RAM is helpful to them. So that's going to be interesting. I think there's going to be a small group of people that are disappointed by this machine, but I kind of think that this was a let's get the Pro out to complete the whole Apple Silicon transfer, just to be done with Intel. And I have a feeling that bigger and better things are coming for the Mac Pro, but that's just a feeling, that's just a guess. Who knows? Next is the iPhone, which I think the iPhone got an important feature for musicians, and that is called Name Drop. Oh, I love the name. But basically, you kind of like, if this is somebody's iPhone that you want to share contact information with, you kind of hold your phone over top of it, and you can transfer either your contact information or somebody else's contact information, which I think is going to be really cool for artists. You meet another artist, you say, hey man, let's collab, let's exchange info. You meet a venue owner, says, hey, I'd like to have you come play. Well, here you go, bing. Really easy to exchange contact information, and I think that's going to be a sneaky important feature. I know Android people are, ooh, Android has that. I don't care about Android. You had it first, we had it best. I don't know. That's how it goes oftentimes. iPad. Well, the important things for iPad were announced a couple weeks ago, which was Logic and Final Cut. Obviously, those weren't mentioned because that's a thing that already happened. Other than that, there really wasn't much for iPad. A few like widgets and iPad's interesting. There's nothing compelling new about iPad. However, I don't think I could live without my iPad. But anyway, there will be a video coming on Logic Pro on the iPad. It's just taking me a little bit because I want to get it right. So if you want to see that, subscribe and all that jazz. There was adaptive audio noise canceling things for the AirPods, which basically any kind of loud noises that you might need to hear if you're in noise canceling mode would come through. So like you didn't get hit by a train or a car or a bus or something like that. But also if people start talking to you, it'll come through, which to me defeats the purpose of noise canceling. I don't want to just get rid of background noise. I don't want people to talk to me generally when I have them in. There's video conferencing now on Apple TV. FaceTime is coming, but then Zoom and WebEx are going to be on the Apple TV. It's going to use your iPhone or iPad camera through continuity camera to be the camera for the video conferencing on the TV. So, I don't know. That could be cool. It's just tough to write music over video conferencing because of the latency issues. But of course, the big announcement was Vision Pro. That's right, Vision Pro. And let's get it out of the way. $3,500 for this device that does AR and VR. Now, there was some attempts at augmented reality, a la Google Glass. And there's plenty of VR gaming headsets out there. But this just takes everything to 11. There's no controllers. It tracks your hand motion. It tracks your eyes. You can take like 3D pictures with it. There's so many features. I could be here for a very long time listing features for this thing. But it's a hefty price tag. But I think that's okay. Because let's let the rich people work out the bugs. Because this is definitely a new type of product. And so we're at the beginning of something that I think is going to be world changing. I think this application of AR, VR together. Oh, by the way, when you have it on, if somebody starts talking to you, it will indicate that, and it'll literally like show your eyes on the front of the thing. And not in a weird way. It actually looks pretty darn natural. Almost like they were clear goggles, but they're not clear. There's so many. It's so cool. It's so cool. There's going to be a million videos on it, but it's not going to come till next year. And the reason they announced it so early, I think, is so the developers can make apps and things that'll work with this thing. So you have to have some sort of infrastructure when it launches. Disney is already coming out with an app for that, but this is going to deal a major blow to TV. This is going to revolutionize. I think it can revolutionize work. I can imagine doing VR concerts. I can imagine using this with Logic Pro and have like an AR kind of mixer in front of you and, you know, use hand gestures to move faders up and down. Like, this could be really cool. I don't think we can even comprehend the uses of this thing yet. So I'm really fascinated to see where this technology goes. And it's a big risk by Apple, but I think it could be a big reward. But who knows? this could crash and burn.